Ugh, how did I die to an Enderman? I'm not ready to do it again. I'm ready now. So everyone, after 10 months, it is finally time to begin Hardcore Minecraft Season 2. As you can see, I have not put in a seed because we are going to be going into a completely random seed. I have no idea what biome we're going to be in, but either way, it's going to be a ton of fun, so let's hop straight into it. I've let the world load in a bit before beginning, and as you can see, we are in a fairly generic world with the plains as well as some new terrain over there that is a little bit unfamiliar, as we are now in a new update and the world generation has changed quite a bit. I'm guessing that most of you have probably seen the early progression of Minecraft many times before, so I'm not going to put you through that, and we are going to cut to a quick montage of us getting through the early progression of Minecraft, and then we can get straight to the interesting stuff. Okay, maybe no caving yet. However, I did get a few bones which we can hopefully use to tame this dog. Leave your name suggestions for this dog down in the comments below, and make sure to have a hashtag dog in your name so that I can easily find your comment and maybe even pick your name. Oh my gosh, look at this terrain. It does look quite scary, but I mean, this is worth living in, even with the danger. Although I do want to continue exploring, I think that I should probably work on securing a little bit of food and maybe getting the wool to make a bed, as my health is not looking very good right now. A short time has now passed and I am back to full health, and I also have a little bit of iron which I found from the nearby mountain, so we'll go ahead and cook that up in a second. But first, I actually spotted a ruined portal right over here, and I'm hoping that it has some pretty good stuff in it. Or there might just be nothing here. Wow, okay. But I guess the ruined portal wasn't a complete disappointment after all, as I've actually just had a pretty good idea for a starter base, and I think that we are going to be building a sandcastle in this episode. I've also discovered this azalea tree right here, and I think that means that there is a lush cave underneath this beach as well, which, you know, is a double bonus. There's a bit of a forest fire going on over there, but I'm all for letting nature run its course, so let's leave that alone and instead focus on the fact that I have done a small amount of work since the last clip, and we now have a little bit of food as well as a small farm that includes wheat and sugarcane. So I think that we're now ready to go down into the caves again, and luckily with the recent release of Minecraft 1.18, caves are now pretty easy to find and they are usually very large, so hopefully this cave has enough iron for us. I am really missing that dynamic lighting from Optifine right about now, because without it, this cave is about 200 times scarier. Believe it or not, we have actually found a mine shaft. But before we go in there, I'm gonna go ahead and craft a iron chest plate and a iron helmet to hopefully protect us a little bit against the horrors that are no doubt hiding within that mine shaft. Unfortunately, it does look like the mine shaft is only this one part right here. I don't know if that's a bug, but you know what? It's fine because I have managed to get quite a large amount of iron. And before we go up to the surface, I'm going to go ahead and grab some of this moss, as this is going to be very useful for future terraforming. Is it just me, or does that azalea tree look a little like a pea shooter from Plants vs. Zombies. Anyways, we have a lot of work to do if we're going to construct this sandcastle in this episode. The first thing that we gotta do is actually terraform the land, because I'm planning on making this thing fairly large, and right now there is not a large enough flat space for us to build upon. So with the power of editing magic, let's go ahead and do this terraforming in 3, 2, 1, and there we have it. A fully terraformed blank canvas that we can use to construct something truly special. So without further ado, let's get the foundation of this build set up. Now I know right now that this does not really look like a sandcastle, but hopefully you can see the basic outline or beginning of one, as this is the plan that I have set out that is going to eventually become our starter base. Before going on, I would like to say that this design right here was heavily inspired by a real life sandcastle that I found on the internet, but that's just to tell you all that inspiration doesn't always come from the game, and sometimes comes from real life as well. I know that I'm definitely itching to begin this build, and I'm guessing that a lot of you all are pretty excited to see how this thing turns out, although you've probably already seen the thumbnail. But anyways, you know what time it is. It's montage time. Let's do this. I have unfortunately very quickly found myself in the predicament of not having enough sand. These are my last 2 and a little bit stacks of sand, which means that I'm going to have to go on a little bit of a sand mining adventure in order to restock. The sandcastle is coming along very nicely, and all we need to do now is finish these last 2 towers in the back, and then we can move on to the detailing phase of the build. But before we do that, I would like to go on a quick adventure and see if we can't find some diamonds. And no, I do not want to go mining. We are instead going to be trying to find a shipwreck and some buried treasure, which will hopefully, if we're lucky, have a few diamonds in it, which will help us in our future endeavors. Let's see if this chest has anything good in it. Buried treasure map. Okay, and a trident drowned. You know what? I'm not really in the mood for that. It's a baby. Wow, it's a baby. Okay. It's not every day that you find a trident drowned, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can't fight this thing, even though we might die. One more. No trident. But there's another one. Also no trident. I think that's one right there. Yes, that looks like a pretty big shipwreck, which will hopefully contain a buried treasure map. And then we'll have 2 buried treasure maps, which will double our chances of getting some diamonds. Ooh, that's pretty good. If we get lucky, there should be some new crops in this chest back here. Okay, moss, an aqua affinity helmet, as well as some carrots. And there we go, another buried treasure map, as well as a compass. Let's see, are these the same map? No, they aren't. So we do have 2 separate buried treasure maps, which means that we're gonna get a lot of treasure. This world has so much birch in it. I swear, this is like the 10th birch forest that I've found. That's not a good thing. Because, I mean, look at this. Who wants to build with this? This block right here should be our buried treasure. There we go. Ooh, yeah, we do have 2 diamonds, as well as a ton of iron and a bunch of other goodies as well. This is an awesome chest. On to number 2, which looks to be very far away. Let's see, what is this one gonna have for us? 5 diamonds. What? That is literally the most diamonds I have ever found in one buried treasure map. Chest thing. Wow. Incredible. Minecraft gods, thank you very much. However, it does look like I forgot to bring a bed, which means that we have got to rush back home as I do not want to face the monsters of the night yet. With that short break out of the way, let's get back to the build. Finishing up the first phase of this build pretty much just meant placing a bunch more sand, so let's just skip that part and move on to the much more interesting detailing phase. This castle is many things, but finished is not one of them. As you can probably tell, we have a lot more work to do before this thing can be anywhere near complete. And although it is looking pretty good so far, I think the shapes that we're using are quite nice and the variety of heights and widths is very good. We do need to add stuff such as windows and some more trim to the walls as well as the towers. But overall, I think it's a pretty good start, and honestly, my detailing process is not the most organized, so instead of just trying to fumble my way through this, let's go ahead and hand the reins over to editing Glitch and have him narrate over this part, because hopefully he'll make more sense of it than I will. To start off, I added a sandstone trim to the foundation of the castle to give the walls some more variety. After that, I added a bit of extra detail to the top of the towers, which made them look less plain. Doing this, unfortunately, used up the majority of my sandstone, so I mined a bunch from a nearby beach, and then began working on the walls which connected the different towers. Once those were done, I dug out a few windows at the base of each tower to break up the flatness of the walls even more. The tops of the towers were all looking very similar, so I decided to build a cone-shaped roof on one of the taller ones in order to mix things up. The final thing that I did was add some supports to the base of the castle, which made the whole thing look a lot more finished. And with that, the detailing is complete. Well, mostly complete, so let's hop back into the world. There is just one more thing that we need to add in order to finish this castle. Well, more than one, but one thing that I want to add in this episode. And it's going to be a flag, specifically a red flag, that peeks out over the castle on the highest tower on that cone-shaped roof. But I don't have the red wool necessary to build this yet, so let's go ahead, find some sheep, dye them, shear them, and then we'll go ahead and build our flag. Can't forget to grab a few poppies along the way. So I guess this is where the forest fire started. Okay, here we go. A bunch of sheep and a ridiculous number of pigs. Alright, let's go ahead and dye these sheep real quick. I think we're gonna need a good amount, so I'm gonna stay here and just shear these sheep whenever they eat grass. And then we'll head back to the base and construct this flag. Please eat. Good job. It took a while, but we are now ready to build this flag. To start off, I'm just going to go ahead and build a nice little pillar, and then let's just go ahead and start placing blocks. And there we have it, a fully completed castle. Oh wait, did I forget a block right there? Of course, had to be one block, just one, couldn't even be multiple. One singular block that I misplaced. Minecraft building at its finest. As I was saying, a fully completed castle. I think it turned out pretty good, and although I do want to work on the interior, we are unfortunately out of video time. I have no more time to make this video. I'm actually on quite a time crunch. So with this and the start of our hardcore world out of the way, I would like to say this has been GlitchNOut. Goodbye everyone. Oh yeah, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks.